People will talk. Welcome to the latest episode of the Alarpa podcast, and today we're talking not about Backton, not even Middleton, but something called frontón.
Yes, we are.
That stifling laughter in the background. Mary,
What's me?
laugh into the microphone and away from it, don't worry. It's not like you're in church or something. Tell me, frontón, this is a Basque game. And I still don't know how it works really, but you can fill us in with your Spanish insight, which is,
Well.
I say Spanish insight because it is a Basque game,
Yeah.
but there's
So my Spanish insight is going to be wrong.
but there's a stadium in Madrid, so that's how we qualify it.
Yes. I am no expert whatsoever. There are several games involving balls and devices
Describes
to hit them with.
every sport ever.
All right, so the thing that you hit it with, obviously you hit it against a wall, because all frontón is not an exclusive thing of the Basque country, like there's frontón elsewhere. But what it is from the Basque country is like this specific way of hitting the ball, which is with a thing that looks like a kind of basket.
Right.
That's pretty enough explanation, but well, to be honest, not much worse than the guide. So
Well, yeah, the guide was pretty bad, and she forgot her iPad or whatever, her tablet. So the
Yeah.
photographs that would be in the tablet. Now we have tours, so I mean we know what it's like to be a tour
Multiply.
guide, and if we forget our tablet,
we don't say we usually bring a tablet.
no, to be honest, I have to kind of force you to allow me to bring a tablet because you're like, it's not that necessary. But now I have a new phone as well, so I have the backup on the phone as well. So in any
I
situation,
force you not to bring it.
you're not
very
really
exaggeration.
you're not really on the side of the
You
tablet.
bring it anyway.
Of course, as is our dynamic.
Yeah.
But to kind of give a context to this, we were at this tour. Of literally like 20 minutes ago. And, well, hilariously, you gave me the wrong address, so I had to...
I didn't give you the wrong address.
Then when you sent me the directions on Google Maps, it was for a car.
Let's say, but okay, can we just clarify that I've had a bit of an eventful morning today?
Something happened to your... I mean, do you want to give a little reference
Somebody
to
smashed my car.
that? They did smash
You
your
know?
car.
So that kind of tends to,
Yeah, just to give, like, your registration plate is literally taped on
It is.
the
Have
front.
you seen it?
I have seen it, yeah, and there's a roller tape here as well,
Yeah.
in case it falls off or whatever. So, yeah, to give you your due, it is eventful. Well, actually, you might notice this because the last words I said were, "Let's talk about this event," but we actually stopped the recording because breaking news: you got a phone call from your neighbor.
I did.
Take it away.
Yeah, he just admitted to having smashed it. Not only being smashed himself, but actually having smashed my number plates.
And
because he was
yeah.
pretty drunk last night.
And the conclusion from this is that rich people throw money at the problem and wash their hands of it.
Yeah, that's the conclusion. He was just happy to pay for it, but yeah, he didn't apologize or anything until the end. You say, yeah, your car smashed it, but I didn't want to wake you up, so let me know how much it is. Yeah.
So if you're at Christmas parties this week, please be careful, people. You know.
Like it. Well, first of all, I don't drink and drive,
Well, that's another thing. He parked and passed out, and but was drinking and driving. Well, okay, we've been joking about this, but of course, that element of it is quite serious.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not nice when you see that your car has been hit, and no one's left you a note. But then, of course, who's gonna leave a note if he cannot even write? cannot even stand up. He was like that hammered. So, I mean, it's a little bit, there are Christmas parties and stuff like that, but just get a taxi or something, you could hurt people. Never mind the car.
Yeah. Well, this has been exciting, though.
It's such an eventful morning. I know how to have fun.
Yeah, wow. It's only Saturday as well.
I know, it's only Saturday, midday.
If Santa Claus clipped your matricula, your registration plate, would you complain?
With sledge?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I would sue the reindeer.
Fair enough.
They're the ones driving.
Rudolph would have to get a lawyer. But how are you feeling about the whole affair now? It's been resolved, more or less?
Yeah, well, it's a pain in the backside, because you still have, in Spain, I cannot just...
Sorry, for Irish listeners, she means the arse.
I was going to say, but... because you have to ask for it from the traffic, authorities.
Yeah.
So I cannot just, go to the
shop.
To the dealers, yeah. I cannot just go to the dealers and get it replaced.
For the general public, when she says dealers, she means car dealer, not any type of dealer.
I was going to say, that's the right word. Why are you mocking me? Yeah,
I wasn't mocking, I was clarifying in case
car dealers, anyway. Saturday, they probably should,
Yeah, drunk neighbours, drug dealers, smashed cars. I don't want the listeners to get a
sounds
false
like I
impression.
live in the Bronx or something.
Well, you live in a very rich part of Madrid, which I think I've made reference to.
Completely accidentally, I would like to stress again. It's not out of my own making.
I know, just compared to where I live, there's a bit of a...
Yeah, but in fairness, you're richer than me, so it doesn't count.
It's debatable.
Well,
I don't think we should be airing our dirty laundry here.
Maybe not.
On the podcast. It is live, so technically this is not live, so technically this could be edited out, but it won't be.
But we won't be, because we never do.
Yeah, fair enough, yep. All of that really has been exciting. But frontón is why we're here today.
Frontón is what you came here for.
The massive sport that has some kind of ball and stick, and could be lots of other sports. But the amazing thing is, all hilarity inside, is that this was a stadium that was built in the 19th century. It's close to Alonso Martinez, and then under the mayorship of Carmena, who was a great mayor. Too bad she's gone now, replaced by the exact opposite of her, but she bought it for €7 million, and they've spent the last 4 years refurbishing it. I don't think it's finished yet, so probably they will make it more accessible in terms of, there is a huge standing/seating area up 3 or 4 floors.
Yeah.
It's like being in the Colosseum or something in Rome. And you turned to me and said you never knew men could build such things.
Oh yeah, exactly my words.
And if I knew you weren't, I knew you were quoting The Gladiator, which made it not sexist to say that, So, and the thing is, it is a glorious stadium. You go in and you just go down this kind of alleyway, and then it's there. You walk in, and there's this huge circular type of grounds. There's a huge wall where you hit the ball off, and then on 3 sides you essentially have the standing/seating area with these wonderful wooden roofs on the very, very top. These huge windows, the space for the counter as well, the scores. But it's, despite it being so big, it's so compact and so hidden away. And you know this neighborhood quite well.
I do.
So it actually was very hard to find. People necessarily wouldn't know it's here, but it's as a tour guide did say, it's a jewel in the city, and I'm sure it will become more promoted and more famous, and the services that they offer there will become even more interesting. But and they'll remember
Hopefully.
to bring their iPads or whatever. But it's just this kind of really bizarre cultural, historical, sporting thing from the past that's been refurbished. It looks beautiful, and it's still an undiscovered gem. But a gem it is it not?
It is, and I think one of the most peculiar things is that nobody knew it was, very few people knew it was there. Obviously by the 50s, 60s, it was turned into a car dealer. In fact, Citroën was there, and so people knew it because of that. So just as a yeah, as a garage, pretty much. So I never heard of it from like, my mom kind of like lived not far from here, and she never mentioned, and I think my dad would have known, and obviously it wasn't open because, we would have visited. I don't think many neighbors even like knew that that's what it was, because you know what it's like, you pass by a street and if it's like boarded up or whatever, or it's a big gate, and it's locked, you just don't know what's behind it. So it makes you think how many more things there would be inside blocks of flats, because if you remember, we had a similar thing with a chunk of the medieval wall in the center, that you could actually go into a block of flats, and then there was a chunk of the medieval wall there, and no one knows, like only if you live there. So
Well, it's very exciting because if you've been following this pod for the last X number of years, this is what we do. We go to museums and we explore the cultural life in and outside Madrid.
people will talk.
People will talk. But one of the podcasts we did do a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, was when we went to the bunker from the Civil War, which had been dormant for lots of years, had this kind of colourful past, like this Frontón stadium, because they mentioned that they've made movies here and they do news reports, and this Civil War bunker also had this B cinema horror movie kind of schlock horror life to it as well, and then it got reclaimed and reopened as a place you have to go and see, and you have to book it like well in advance and all these kind of things. And Madrid is already a place with lots of great cultural resources and so many museums. It's insane. I think one of the things that people say about Madrid is that there's just so many things to do in a cultural way, and now we're kind of witnessing even more things being added to that slowly and surely, and being reclaimed from the past and renovated, and it's just terribly exciting.
Full stop.
Full stop, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really nice. It's one of the things I miss the most when I wasn't here, just the whole like cultural life.
Well, I mean, you can infer that you think England is a cultural wasteland.
Well, that's a positive. Well, away from London, probably. Let's not get into that. But anyway, the interesting thing is that both this and the bunker were both part of the same set of visits that the...
No, I
can see that you want to say something there.
How many times did you go to the Newcastle Brown Ale brewery tour?
Well, the formal tour, or...
And how many times did you see Ant and Dec's waxwork figures?
Anyway.
Okay, you can continue.
I can continue. So both these visits are part of a town hall program, and they are things that only open like once or twice a year for people to see, and only reduced groups, and actually they release the tickets, and then straight away, they're
snapped up.
Yeah, so we have to be grateful to my sister that actually was there at a time when we were both working, and she kind of like, pressed the button 20 times and she actually got us tickets. It's free, but it's just really hard to get a hold of a ticket.
Thank you, Gloria.
Yeah.
Who also was a hero last night.
Yeah.
Involving this...
Let's not get into that either. There are so many things today, not to get into. Yeah, always a hero. Doctors are always heroes.
It's a good message to give out. I support that.
For Christmas.
Also the name, even the guy wasn't sure about how to pronounce it, but you probably can do it better than I can. It is... Well,
as I pronounce it Beti Jai, but I don't know if this is the right Basque pronunciation.
How do you spell that?
Beti Jai, and then separate word Jai.
So yeah, apparently this is a Basque word, Basque title. The two words are Basque, and it means like constant party.
Yeah, always partying, yeah.
Yeah. Translators remit, constant, always partying. Does it really matter which one?
No, it doesn't. I was just, supporting what you said.
But I said, like, it sound, I'm not that, for me, Basque is like all these X's and everything as well. So this sounds...
There's a lot of J's.
And it's a lot of J's, but there's a J there, but it sounds really Indian, as someone who's a Bollywood dancer. I mean, is there something in that or just purely coincidental?
I think it's just, you will find it's purely coincidental, given that, the Basque language has not been related to any other,
I was
language.
thinking that we did a podcast about that as well.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. I mean, now in terms of the actual visit, it was scheduled for half an hour. Finished around 20 minutes into it.
Yeah. And we were late as well, so I mean,
yeah,
probably was 15 in total.
exactly. Yeah. The thing is though, people are terrible though on tour guides, on tours though, because they like they are talking to each
Very
other,
nasty.
or they're taking pictures and they're not
Oh,
listening.
yeah, okay.
So I mean, like the actual people attending. So what I would have done. Right, this is an insight into how a tour
Go
person
on then,
thinks.
bring
Right,
your tablet.
is it's just here's my back pocket here. No, I would like say, look, here we are. This is the end point. This is the climax of the tour. Right, I'm going to give you first of all 5-10 minutes to take your stupid pictures, and then once that's out of your system, right, you listen to my
Please don't
explanation.
yeah.
Because otherwise you just go straight in and people are just like doing selfies and
Yeah, you would have been well pissed off if they've
Yeah.
been taking pictures while you were talking.
Well, you can say pissed off, but you won't say arse.
All right, fair enough. Okay, you were slightly bothered.
Slightly peeved.
Somewhat bothered.
No, it's never happened on our tour, thankfully, because fortunately we do it really in a bustling, like city centre neighbourhood. So there's no space.
Well, no, and also it's so enthralling. Like, we completely capture people's attention.
That's primarily the okay,
sport
yes,
of it,
it's
man.
great, yeah.
Just trying to make it more romantic.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like the tours there. Like you were listening more than I kind of tuned out. I'll be honest. So
You were listening more than me. That's a first.
So I mentioned I did like the name. We describe what it looks like. We know where people come there for reports, like news stations and everything. And which reminds me, we can talk about the Bernabeu in a second.
Oh yeah.
And they've made movies there and stuff like that. And it's really cool when you're there because you can see through the windows that have no glass in them, and you can see the neighbours like hanging out their towels and knickers and I don't know. Things that they wash, basically, So it's
laundry.
Laundry. That's the
Is
word.
that the way you're looking for?
But like, was there anything else that I probably did not even hear in this tour?
It was quite disjointed, to be honest, because he kept jumping backwards and forwards about what it been used for, So it's it was a little bit confusing like that, I think, to be honest. But no, I think pretty much you've summed it all up. She talked a bit more about the cars, even before the Citroën. It was like a dealers for like luxury cars. She didn't say, well, she did say the brand, I don't know, but I found it very hard to understand.
Well, actually, things are magically coming back to me now. She said the games there were very low quality.
Oh yeah, that was before we went in. Yeah. She was just explaining that you were still listening by then. That was only the first minute of the visit. She was saying that because there were so many frontones all over the city, this one was one of the most relevant ones. So they had very low quality players, and also some of them because there was too much demand, too much offer. And also they fixed the matches and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's such a beautiful place that the quality itself was quite low. She mentioned some architectural details as well. And I love my Bauhaus, which is not present actually in this building. But the facade...
It's the opposite to Bauhaus, more like.
The facade is neoclassical, apparently inspired by the French opera.
Oh, you did listen for the first 3 minutes.
Well, it's my maximum.
Yeah.
And today.
Attention span.
And then it's really weird because it doesn't really fit with what it looks like on the inside. But on the inside, on the wall, obviously it's this huge, very tall structure. And then you can see some of these sculptures that have a ball, and then the basket, which would be the implement, the tool that they would use to throw it around, fling it around and everything as well.
It's not that easy to explain.
And, but when we were walking out of there, you were very excitingly telling me about the new Bernabeu. So obviously for people living in Madrid and who are football fans will probably know that the stadium is going under renovation, but there's something about the grass that you just couldn't wait to tell me.
1 second, can I just clarify? I wasn't very excited. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. And, impressive from a technique point of view, but completely not impressive from a human point of view.
But we'll call this part of the podcast from one stadium to another.
Okay, fine. So, no, I thought, I was only telling you out of interest for you because you like football so much. And basically, there was a video where they showed what they were going to do, and they're creating this massive structure to hide all the grass under the stadium so that it can be used for all the things. And then when it's necessary, they pull it all, like it's just stripes, and then they put all the stripes back together. Strips, yeah. And then,
Strips, yeah.
Yeah, strips, yeah. And then, you wouldn't have stripes in Bernabeu. That's Atletico. So you just put them all together, and then there you go. You have your grass. So yeah, I mean, it's impressive how it works, but absolutely stupid and just frightening how much money Real Madrid's owner actually handles. This is my take.
But my theory is that because of COVID, they might want to have a COVID bubble where all the players play underground.
Well, there's a whole system of like watering the grass, but of course you weren't impressed with that because you say that they exist everywhere or in many places. But then this thing of like hiding the grass and being able to use it for other events and stuff like that. As I said to you, I'm expecting it not to happen every week, because it's... And I assume it will take quite a while to get rid of all the grass.
Well,
it won't be a 5-minute job.
All right, okay, we don't need to get lost into the minutiae of, grass operations in the Bernabeu, but it is interesting.
You asked me.
No, I didn't ask you specifically. Just let's philosophize or how is this actually going to work? But no, it's actually really interesting. Okay, sorry, don't pull that face.
I can say what I want.
No, in one sense we are, as I said, from one stadium to another, from the great pastime of the past to the great pastime of now. But I'll tell you what though, because it actually chimes in really nicely with a book I've just finished reading. I can't really go into too much details about it because I'm editing it,
Oh, yeah.
As one of my amazing jobs when I'm not doing the podcast. But he, in the final chapter, it all kind of dovetails with why he kind of went to Russia in the first place.
Okay.
But he goes to visit this old, dilapidated stadium of a team that were really popular back in the 60s and everything as well. And Lev Yashin, the goalkeeper, one of the greatest goalkeepers, if not the greatest goalkeeper in the history of football, apparently. I'd say Shay Given, who actually, not only Irish, but played for your Newcastle as well.
There's no such a thing as my Newcastle.
So, and it just, a stadium that had been so triumphant and resplendent and now just completely forgotten and dilapidated. But within that, there's so many stories. This sounds, I know, pretentious, but as in, yes, of course. But what I'm trying to say is, like, for him, like, he grew up as a youth in Scotland, really admiring Lev Yashin and hearing about these football teams at a time when you didn't really hear a lot about foreign football teams. No, but like, the Champions League now, like, if Liverpool play Red Bull Salzburg or whatever, we're going to know who they are, right?
Especially me.
Well, you will after I tell you about it. But the fact of the matter is, and then you have this whole thing about the Soviet Union, putting all their resources into these football. It's like there's so many cultural contexts to that. And it's just nice that this stadium that that we've just been to, I'm sure like there's so many other ways that we're not even aware of that you can kind of approach this stadium and analyze it and the stories that are contained within there. And I know how facetious and pretentious that sounds, but it is ultimately true as well. And for him, seeing this dilapidated stadium in his final chapter kind of sums up the book, has this great emotional resonance for him. And granted, for us, like, frontón is not something I grew up listening to. It's not some reawakening here or retouching the past for me. But having these things brought back to life, I think, is a really special and amazing thing. And the Bernabeu, just right now, we all know what it is, and we're kind of seeing how it's changing and everything. And it is this institution of history as well. But who knows, in 100 years, that guy could be gone. Hopefully, who knows? Basque Barça. Or Wapa Leti as well. Or Forza Rayo. Who cares? Well, any team. apart from Real Madrid.
That's the summary.
So we can take for granted that it was disappeared, now it's back, and it's a nice day out. We'll take our stupid photograph for Instagram or whatever. But I think ultimately what I'm trying to say is that it's a very powerful thing that this has happened. And even though I don't have any great emotional attachment to it, I still support it a lot. I think it's a wonderful thing that Madrid have done. And again, another string to Carmena's bow. So well done to her. It's a shame she's gone. Does any of that make sense?
Yes, it was a kind of like, detour that ended up in the right place.
I won't say any more. So I think that is pretty much it for our Frontón festival.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for... thank you, Gloria, again, for your heroics last night. For getting the tickets. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you, listener, for being, you're the best presents this year.
Oh my
for
God!
For supporting this podcast. It's me saying good luck.
Yes, me saying bye.